What's up? Got the Montana Snow Spartan. So anyway, forget it. We got Joe and we got Noah here, and we're gonna do some quick review on some snowboarding gear. We're gonna start out with the most important thing that we consider to be the most important thing about snowboarding. That's gonna be your boots. They need to be rigid. They need to be durable. I have right here my old pair of Burtons. They were just too small, and that's why I honestly bought this pair. There's a difference. These are lace-up boots. Obviously, it has the laces. And these are the BOA system. I really enjoy the BOA system because you push that little knob in right there, and it tightens those cables. It's probably hard to see. But it tightens the cables all the way up, and it tightens it on your foot. Now, the K2 has come out with another one that has another tightener on the side for right here, but we won't get into that. Boots are really important. I really enjoy these K2. K2 is really durable, and it's not the cheapest thing. I paid around $200 for these boots. Now, give me your input on why you think boots are important.
Well, I mean, you can pick up boot rental and board rental is literally the exact same price when you're at a resort. They hardly ever change the price. So why, I mean, your boots aren't going to change that often. There's tons of different styles of boards, which we can probably get into later. But you might as well pick a boot that you like and just get a boot and start with that, so you don't have to rent boots. You can just keep renting a board until you're comfortable enough to know the difference between a few different boards before purchasing a board, so you know which style or which kind of riding you do.
And plus, when you think about it, boot rental is $25 for a cheap pair of lace-up boots that probably don't fit you very well. $25, so telling me in 8 trips, I could have the boot paid off if that's something you're planning on pursuing. Now, we'll move on. Next up is goggles. Goggles are super important because cheap goggles tend to fog up. When you're going down the mountain and it's foggy, and they get foggy, it's a miserable trip, and then when you take your goggles off, you can't hardly see anything because of the snow if it's bad weather. But goggles are super important. I prefer tinted goggles. Some people prefer not to have tinted just so it's easier to see the trail, but most of the time it's so bright out on the mountain that tinted is super helpful. But this is the Gyro Wolfgang series, and I've used these for 1.5 years now, and they performed very well. I've only had them fog up one time, and that was because I got a ton of moisture on the inside of the lenses, and even at that, they weren't that bad. $80. Next up is gloves. I bought these gloves. Now, these were expensive gloves. You don't have to have expensive gloves. As long as they'll keep water out, they don't have to be expensive. I paid $80 for these because they're a super durable glove, and they will last me pretty much forever. They're the Gore-Tex Cabela's version. They have the extra tag here. So what that's for, let me find the right hand here, is you slip that over your wrist and you put your hand in. Now what it does is when you pull your glove off, it doesn't come off on the lift, and when you start you'll realize that a lot of people drop their gloves. Now I use mitts, and then I have these for backup. They're small, just regular finger gloves. They're nothing fancy, but what that's for is that if these get wet, I have these in my pocket just in case I need to get down the mountain when it's super cold. Now, what's your take on the difference of just starting out with finger gloves versus mitts?
So I have finger gloves just because that's just what I bought first. The only thing, I mean, I think it's probably a lot to do with preference. The only thing you do kind of realize with the higher quality gloves, most cheap gloves, the insulation liner inside the glove is not attached to the glove. So if your hands get sweaty, glove gets wet, when you pull that out, you're going to pull the insulated fingers right out of your glove fingers, and that's a pain to fight to put your gloves back on. The higher grade gloves, you don't have to worry about nothing really coming out. Like, I'm sure you dealt with that with some kind of form of glove. It's a pain to have to tuck the fingers back into your glove. But I mean, waterproof, insulated most of the time. I mean, the better you get, the less you'll be in the snow. And my first year, I figured out gloves are a must whether you're good or not, because you're gonna be. I mean, if
The wind is cold.
Yeah, the wind's cold. You're gonna be dragging your hand in the snow at some point, or picking yourself up after a wipeout. So, yeah, waterproof gloves is definitely a must-have.
I bought this jacket on clearance rack. I paid $80 for it, and that, for some reason, that seems to be the going price that I paid for a lot of my snowboarding gear. But it's an Oakley jacket. It's super lightweight, and it's actually not that thick. Really, when you're snowboarding, a lot of people, they bundle up too much. They get too many layers on. It's good to layer, but they get too many layers on. I wear this and a down vest under it, and I'm good. No, pretty much no matter what the temperature is. This jacket particularly, it rolls up to 3/4 sleeve. I don't know exactly why. That just isn't really all that cool. But it has a couple of nice things about it. It has the ventilated armpits for when you get hot, when the day is just... I've been on the snow and it's 70 degrees outside. It's pretty crazy, but it happens. It has the the ventilated armpits, pockets kind of a little bit everywhere. Your normal just side pockets. Jackets, really, you don't have to have a fancy jacket. The only thing that I would say in looking for a jacket is get a long jacket. Mainly because when you're wearing your snow pants, unless you have bibs, your snow pants will get packed with snow. Your first trip, you're gonna get soaked. It doesn't matter. If you're not good at it, it doesn't matter if you have the most expensive gear out there, you're gonna get wet your first time. It will not matter. So don't think that you have to go into this buying a $300 or $400 jacket, $500 or $600 pants. These are $200 pants and an $80 jacket. The snowboarding doesn't cost as much as a lot of people think.